I was at my old day camp, and one of the the administrators there said that their daughter is going to Hawaii, which
Sick.
I've never really heard of someone, especially from the East Coast, going to school
Far
at
trip.
Hawaii. So then it got me thinking, and I don't regret going to Syracuse. A lot of great things happened to me for going to Syracuse.
Heck yeah.
It did have me thinking how stupid I was as a kid, though, to go to Syracuse when for 4 years I could have done something so cool, like go to school at Hawaii.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a beautiful place. And they're building the camp, or they're building the stadium now on campus once again. They're going to get it back. It's going to be beautiful. It overlooks the ocean because everything does when you're off the mainland. I mean, we're going to be throwing the football all year under Timmy Chang. Last year, Brendan Shager, who was their quarterback, a little bit disappointing because he put up huge numbers in 2023 for the Rainbow Warriors, and those kind of tempered throughout the season, leading to Alejado getting that start at the end. We're talking big offensive numbers all year long. I think we're going to be around 300 passing yards, hopefully, for the freshman lefty who made that one career start, and we'll see it from the very beginning. Again, when you have Senecal, who was one of his top targets in one game, being the top target from the very start of a new season, this is where I think you get that slightly depressed number that might start to build if you have player prop options throughout the year.
And if you're going to get this NIL money and they're willing to get some money out there in Hawaii, like, you could just go to Hawaii.
For sure.
That's sick.
100%.
It's so I don't know. I'm just saying, like, they're clearly getting some money out there. They're building stadiums. They're getting good players. All of a sudden, Hawaii's on the map.
I think they've had some issues with NIL funding, or at least an athletic director that was like stealing money from the university in the last few years. But yeah, I hope they're on a much better path.
Hey, it's like kind of okay to cheat these days in college football. Jim Harbaugh did it right. He cheated and then he went to the NFL.
100%. Who cares if you have a show cause when you're never coming back to college football?
It was a genius move.
For sure. Come on.
And, you know, so before I get to your futures, you know that I went to Penn State before I went to Syracuse.
I do, yes.
There's one thing I learned at Penn State. Only one. Penn State can't win the big game. And everybody and their mother seems to be very high on Penn State this year. And it doesn't matter if his name's Christian Hackenberg. It doesn't matter if it's Bill O'Brien. And it doesn't matter if it's James Franklin. And it doesn't matter if it's Drew Aller.
Yeah.
Nobody wins the big game in Nittany Lion uniform. But this year, everyone says it's the year. How much do you believe that?
It's a great question. I believe it enough to at least say they will be in the college football playoff quarterfinal round. Can they get back to the semis? Perhaps. I don't think they'll have as favorable of a path back to the semifinals as they did last year, even as that top at-large team. They were the 6th seed, and they had a great draw because they had SMU and then Boise State. It was the 3 seed. That would have, of course, changed based on the straight seeding format. But to your point, getting back to the CFP quarters, or maybe even the CFP semis, but coming up short in the Final Four round, I don't think would be considered a successful season for Penn State. In fact, I think it would be rather disappointing because the narrative didn't change on Penn State getting to the college football playoff semifinal in the first year of 12 last season. They lost in the Big Ten championship game against Oregon. They were the beneficiary of Ohio State losing as a 3-touchdown favorite at home against Michigan. To have that opportunity even to play in the game against the Ducks, it was maybe more competitive than some thought, and the offense produced, but still came up short, right? And then you get to the college football playoff semifinal with a wonderful opportunity against Notre Dame, both before the game, throughout the game, in the second half for Drew Aller when he had opportunities to make plays and didn't. And they came up short against an AP top 5 team. We know the numbers. James Franklin versus AP top 10 foes in his 11 years in state college. 4-20 straight up against top 5 AP ranked opponents. Now 1-15 after the loss to the Irish in the college football playoff semifinal. So to your point, Ariel, yes, I believe they are going to be back. I don't think Penn State's going to be an 8-win team who misses out on the college football playoff, or even a 9-win team. I think they'll be there and at least win a game in the college football playoff, if not maybe even win the Big Ten and get that opening round bye. But just because they could get there or to the second round does not necessarily mean it's a successful season. I really think it's national championship game at minimum or bust, and maybe even just national championship or bust based on all they return this year and what the expectations are in Happy Valley.
The expectation in Clemson is always to win, and you expect them to at least win the ACC this year, which Almost feels a little public
Yeah.
because everyone in the ACC seemingly seems to suck. But why are you so sure about Clemson?
So I bet Clemson back in the early portion of May at a plus 140 price. They're priced now to win the ACC closer to even money. There are a couple teams I am very high on that because I love college football and I start looking at these numbers as soon as they become readily available. Not to pat myself on the back, but
Yeah,
I
you
felt
can.
like
You can. It's your job. You could pay
it's
a
just
couple
more
bucks.
so that everybody is now super public on certain teams. Clemson is basically going to be minus money. The odds makers haven't moved the Tigers' win total from 9.5 to 10.5, despite 9.5 having juice on the over from the very start. And now at last check, it's like minus 215 to the over of 9.5. So again, I've been on Clemson for a while. I think Clemson is not just going to win the ACC as they have done in down years. They have won the conference championship 8 of the previous 10 seasons. I do think there is value in Clemson at 11-1, and that was 15-1 just a few weeks ago, about a month ago, to win a national championship. Because again, that is that ceiling. That is the expectation for the Tigers, who finally figured it out offensively last year. Garrett Riley, the OC, Cade Klubnik came on in a strong way. He is back, one of the best returning quarterbacks in all of college football. It was the defense that had been the calling card for Clemson under Dabo Swinney the last 5 to 7 years that really, really struggled. So they make a change at the defensive coordinator spot. They bring in Tom Allen, and he has a lot of talent to work with on the defensive side of the football. So yes, it is kind of public now where it stands, but I do believe that Clemson wins the ACC. If you want to go further and you want a better price on the Tigers, 11-1 to win a national championship, although that number has reduced in the last few weeks, or maybe even Cade Klubnik, although I never advise betting one of the 3 or 5 best prices to win a Heisman Trophy. To win the Heisman Trophy would be another way to look at Clemson this year.
Everyone in the chat seems really excited about Maction. Everybody is like, oh my God, we've got Mac. Like, yeah. I know Maction looks a little different, but you like Toledo to win the Mac. Why?
I do like Toledo to win the MAC because of what Jason Candle has built there in Toledo, Ohio. When you look at the MAC, the one conference this year, Ariel, in the offseason, year to year, that lost the most talent. It is basically a minor league system. It is a hotbed for power conferences, certainly in the Midwest portion of the country, to pluck talent and elevate them through the transfer portal. Toledo has the most returning production in all of the Mid-American Conference, and Toledo has Tucker Gleason back at the quarterback spot as well. So when you're going to tell me that I know what I have in a team that got the double-digit wins and beat Pitt in a bowl game at the end of last year with its quarterback back, with a head coach in Jason Candle that's been there for damn near a decade and has been incredibly consistently successful at the helm. And then I tried to look at the schedule for the Rockets. I like what I am seeing based on where Toledo is. That plus 190 price for the Rockets, who again are the favorites to win the MAC, but that plus 190 price feels pretty good to me. Miami of Ohio should be there. The Ohio Bobcats should be there as well. But I like Toledo, consistency in the quarterback spot, some really good talent on the defensive side of the football as well. And at least to start, the most familiar faces back in terms of returning production there for the Rockets. Give me Toledo to win the MAC at a plus 190 price.
Love it. A little bit of action. Before we play a little game, I do want to get your thoughts on any win totals that you like in college football.
Ooh, so many. Again, much like the Clemson bet, a lot of these numbers are now gone. Illinois over 7.5. I would even take them over 8.5. But if you're going to go over 8.5, go to 10 plus wins. Illinois, another one of those teams, Ariel, that everybody now seems to love. They're ranked 12th in the preseason AP poll. But I was on Illinois dating back to the end of last season after the victory in the Citrus Bowl against South Carolina. Way too early 2025 rankings. I said if Illinois is not in your top 15, heck, even top 10, you're doing it wrong. They're in the AP poll in that top 15 at number 12. I think there's a chance at a plus 540 price that if you have a 10-win Big Ten football team, they have a chance to reach the college football playoff. So I'm very high on Illinois. I remain high on Illinois despite their win total going higher and higher. Another one that hasn't moved much, and the juice is still pretty hefty on the over, but a little bit more palatable. I think it's minus 140, something of the sort, is Georgia Tech. I think the Yellow Jackets have a great chance of playing Clemson in that ACC championship game. The backfield of Haynes King, the quarterback, Jamal Haynes, the running back, they are both back. They bring back Malik Rutherford as well, who is very, very heavily targeted in the transfer portal. And what Brent Key has done as an underdog in his first 2.5 years as the head coach there in Atlanta to what I expect now to be more of a favorable path in the ACC, booked as a favorite often. I'll take the Bees to go over 7.5, 8, maybe even 9 wins. And then a couple in the SEC that have started to move as well. I got them both at the over 6.5, both grueling gauntlet type schedules. Oklahoma and Florida got OU over 6.5, Florida over 6.5, both now at 7.5 with juice on the under. Still like them both, but of course I like 7 and 5 a lot better than I do 8 and 4. So those are some of the win totals I have early on.